And currently I'm looking at the leaderboards to see if... Let's see here. Does EaBTasRaiul have... No, Taz does not have a leaderboard time that I can tell. Qttsix has a leaderboard time, a submitted time of 40 minutes and 41 seconds, which is only 16 seconds behind the world record held by Ariel. And yes, Reflect, you're just in time. You calculated that 25-minute delay perfectly. Currently there is another match happening on Speed Gaming 1 right now between, let's see, Baldo and Madhu. And with that said, Qttsix and Raiul are just going through the tutorial level. There isn't that much to be told about the game so far. Right now the players are focusing on ignoring and avoiding as many enemies as they can, preferably not killing them when possible, because killing them gives you a bit of lag, a few frames, 4 to 5 frames per enemy killed. Also, do not worry about your Twitch possibly having a delay. It is not Twitch, it is the restream. I'm having the same problem right now, so apologies for that. And Zero, of course, with the plot logic, stumbling upon his girlfriend in a place with millions of dead people and destroyed robots. Qttsix getting a very awkward pattern from the first tutorial boss, and same... Oh wow! Raiul getting the worst pattern on a boss that never gives one. No, Reflect, that was an old error made by old game guides and cheat books. The myth supposedly was that Black Zero has better armor and better offense. While this is true in later X series, it is not true for MMX4. It is purely an aesthetic look only. You do need a cheat code to activate it, but it does not give you any sort of special abilities, skills, defense or offense. It's purely aesthetic. But yeah, that first boss we just saw normally just stands around and attacks you, and he dies within seconds. There is a slim chance he will fly up and about. And Raiul getting that is actually, that would be a reset for a speedrunner. Little bit of a translation error there with the irregular hunters. Of course that means the Maverick hunters, just an oversight in the Japanese version. Both players are playing the PC version, you could tell, because they have almost no loading times. I'd be tempted to say they have 0 loading times, pun intended. No, Frico, it is not. You enable Black Zero with a special cheat code at the character select screen. The same way you can unlock the Ultimate X armor. He has a different cheat code. But the difference is the Ultimate X armor gives you infinite Nova strikes, which is obviously a gigantic power boost. Black Zero armor does not give you anything special, and Raiul's struggling with the wall jump there a bit, having 3 attempts before he gets it. Both players opting to go for Dragoon first. This is a very logical choice that most players take with the Zero route. They go for either Jet Stingray or Dragoon. And Qttsix getting the best pattern immediately off the bat with the Firestorm attack. Of course he gets trolled afterwards. Now let's see what Raiul gets. As you can tell, Dragoon is a bit of a Capcom staple character right now. Oh, Raiul have to be careful here. Oh! If that had hit him, that would have been a wipe immediately. Ryu losing precious time on very trolly boss mechanics. QTT taking up Cyber Peacock, and I'm assuming after this he'll go for either Split Mushroom or Jet Stingray. The Cyber Peacock stage is a speedrunner stage, even for a casual player. The idea is to get through the stages as fast as you can, and doing so will get you rewards. If you're too slow, you won't get a reward, and since this is 100% and a speedrun, it's pretty much the default result you want. You get a life up, a life tank, and you get a energy reserve tank, I believe, or a weapon reserve tank, I'm not sure. I believe it's a life reserve tank. If you play this with X, ooh, Qttsix getting grabbed. If you were to play with X, you would get an armor upgrade instead of the life up. Qttsix losing a bit of time because he was grabbed by one of those sentries. The yellow sentries will grab hold of you and hold you in place for a few seconds. Which obviously is not something you want to happen in a speedrun. Or actually a tournament. Now I don't even want it to happen in a normal playthrough. Alright. Six making it to Cyber Peacock in a few moments. Oh, of course not, I'm being dumb. He reaches the second stage of the level. Every boss in this game has two separate levels, first and second part. It basically shows the midway part of the level. QTT not having a lot of issues with this level. Frico, no, Zero does not have special parts in this game. In X5 there is a way to unlock his black armor. Like it's kind of a secret for the game itself. But it's not until X6 that Zero gets his individual parts to unlock. Alright, Qttsix going up to Cyber Peacock. Cyber Peacock has 3 different attacks, 2 of which involve him teleporting on the floor right next to you, and he will either rise up, which makes it difficult to hit him, or he will do his Giga Crush attack. Ideally, you want him to do either his Giga Crush or the attack he's doing right now where he floats in the air. The safe strat is to just do the Rising Phoenix Strike on him, or Rising Dragon Strike, name is a preference. It'll cause him to immediately teleport away, but it always deals a lot of damage. The riskier strats, it is a few seconds faster. It involves you doing a normal hit followed by a Dragon Strike, but if Cyber Peacock opts to go for a Rising Strike, you will miss out on the Rising Dragon Strike, so it will cost you time. It is a minimum reward for a very big risk. And QTT going for Split Mushroom as I expected. And Ryu following in hot pursuit. Split Mushroom is one of the bosses in this game who has little to no RNG to him. He will always have the same pattern and he will always do the same thing. If you lose time on Split Mushroom, it is basically because you messed something up. Qttsix going for some wall jumps here. The biggest jerk, that's a tough one. I would say if we're looking at the 8 Maverick bosses, Jet Stingray would have to be the biggest jerk. If we're looking at all the bosses in the game, it would be a tie between Sigma and the General. Not because they're very difficult, but because they are heavily RNG dependent. In fact, I can recommend anyone to watch up the match that we had yesterday between Qttsix and who was the opponent again? Yes, the match yesterday we had between Qttsix and Qttsix. I strongly recommend you watch that fight because it was a hype match. And asking me which boss is the biggest jerk, that video will answer all of your questions. All of them. And you will never ever doubt the answer again. Something I have yet to talk about right now is the move that both players are using to quickly kill off bosses. I'm terribly sorry, I'm breaking my neck over the English language right now. The attack pattern that you see players using right now, and you see Qttsix using it right now, is the sword dash cancel. Zero has a hit combo of 3 consecutive hits. 2 normal attacks followed by a larger, wider attack. The larger, wider attack gives enemies an invincibility frame, or an iframe, while the first 2 attacks do not. What you want to do is land the first hit, move, and land the first hit again. Moving interrupts your combo, so landing that first hit, tapping, hitting allows you to quickly take care of bosses without them ever getting iframes. There's a slower way, which allows you to do the first 2 hits and then moving. It's really a matter of preference what you prefer to do. But ideally, in the end, you don't want to have that 3rd hit. The exception to this is the Storm Owl boss, who has no iframes. And I'm assuming both players will go after Jet Stingray now, or if they want to go for a divergence, they'll go for Storm Owl. Jet Stingray for 6, sticking to the meta. Jet Stingray is the only true auto-scroller of the game right now. There's not much to be talking about. Normally I'd say this is a good time for donations. And Raul going for the same route. I'm assuming they all have the same order right now. Raul being behind about 15-ish seconds, and that was 5 seconds purely from that first boss, giving a horrendous pattern right from the get-go. With that said, we are currently hosting this tournament on the Speed Gaming channels. Please give all those channels a follow. We have 8 Speed Gaming channels right now at this very moment, so feel free to give them all a follow. We have several tournaments happening right now. Metroid Fusion. There will be another Super Metroid tournament again. We have the Key Sanity randomizer tournament happening. We've just finished up the Super Mario 64 tournament yesterday with the grand finals. After this match, we will be having, let's see. Yep, Reflect, we have 8 channels right now. The last 4 channels are brand new for about 2 weeks-ish. After the MMX4 tournaments, we will have the Super Mario Odyssey finals on Speed Gaming 1, followed by Shantae on Speed Gaming 3, and Final Fantasy 1 PSP tournament on Speed Gaming 2. In fact, you can just boom, done. Schedule. Be sure to bookmark that. And yeah, and if you can spend a little bit of bits or a little bit of money, make sure subscribe to the channels, make sure Mythical are both fed their respective tacos and burritos, and make sure they can upkeep the excellent quality of these restreams. If Speed Gaming 9 is a channel, then it's, yeah, I don't think that's an official one. But I'm sure that'll come up at some point. Qttsix finishing up Jet Stingray. Normally you'd get a cutscene here. It's a boss fight with X and a cutscene with Zero, because Zero's too cool for a boss fight. Oh, Nimian, please, you're killing me, bro. And in comes my usual rant about the stupidity of a web spider. We have Magma Dragoon, we have a Storm Owl, we have a Jet Stingray, and in comes this chump. Hey guys, I'm Web Spider. What, was swimming fish too out of the ordinary? To my knowledge, there are 8 official channels right now, Bjorn. And with that said, I just ran out of a drink, so forever dry. You heard it here, folks. I'm hitting my dry streak on this channel. Raiul going for the nice little bit. It's not really a skip, but he saves a bit of time by exiting the armor at the top. As you can tell, Qttsix is just damage boosting through the enemies, trying to kill as few as possible. You don't want to kill all those bees, because that is a big surge of lag you'll be getting. You lose about 4 to 5 frames per second if you kill a single enemy, much less 8 at one time. I might reload the drink in a few bits, but there's an interesting fight coming up right now. And pay close attention to Qttsix, because I am very convinced he will be going for it. There is a skip on Web Spider where you can skip his second battle stage. I talked about iframes before. Web Spider does not... Oh, is he gonna get it? Web Spider does not have any iframes. He misses it. Oh, QTT. Such a shame. Web Spider has no iframes once he exits the screen. It is completely possible to kill him in the air, skipping the explosions, skipping the setup stage that he does. All in all, you can shave off 30 seconds if you kill him off screen. And QTT barely missing it. We'll have to see if he gets it in the refight. Okay, both players just switching about the stages, right? QTT was already in the lead a bit, and he is going to advance his lead now, unless Raiul gets the skip. The Storm Owl stage is a notably short stage, especially the first part. You get the armor that allows you to dash and charge all the time. I will do the reload in a bit when they hit the Frostwaller stage. There's not much to talk about in that stage or the Slash Beast stage. And again, welcome everyone to the Mega Man X4 100% Zero tournament. The goal here is to collect all the power-ups for Zero, all of his life tanks, the sub-tanks, the X4 tank. Basically just that, and of course finishing with a better time than your opponents. To your left side is Qttsix, the former world record holder of this game. His current record is 14 seconds behind the world record. EaBTasRaiul made a very good playthrough on the bracket stage. He does not have a score on the leaderboard that I could follow. but based on what he's shown so far, he is holding his own in this tournament very well. Qttsix coming up to the boss that has no iframes, hence the damage he's dealing. And getting the off-screen kill. Not skipping the explosion sadly, but still. Pay close attention to Raul. I do believe he's going for the skip, but I don't think he'll be able to. Nope, he will not be able to get it. That's a shame. It is. I've only seen one person manage to do this skip so far. That is the current world record holder, Ariel. He did the skip in his bracket stage. And interestingly enough, he died in that same game playthrough against Split Mushroom. So yeah, there's that. Alright, I will be back in a moment to actually get myself a drink. Be right back, people. And I'm back again. Did I miss anything exciting? Come on, chat, you have to keep me updated on this stuff. I can't talk if chat doesn't keep me up to date on stuff. Come on. Anyway, with all of that said, how are you all doing today, chat? How are you enjoying this tournament? What are your predictions this tournament? What is your favorite Robot Master, your favorite stage, your favorite soundtrack? Talk X4 or talk Megman X to me, people. Where does your fondness for this series come from? I can't argue with that, Nimion. Oh, congrats, Frico. Winning any sort of tournament is always a good self-esteem boost, so congrats on that. Both players going through the /B stage. There's a lot of movement here. You'll see them damage boosting through as many enemies as possible. Preferably not killing groups of enemies. Not always possible. This is one of the more trolly bosses /beast. He can give you various patterns. He can jump up as what he's doing right now, or he can do the swiping attacks. Worst pattern is when he decides to do a charge up attack where he will either counter you or start dashing around the screen. Not something you want because it becomes annoying as hell to actually land a hit. I'd say Qttsix is about 30-ish seconds ahead right now of Raul. Also, for those of you interested about this game's story, this is the story of noble soldier robots called Reploids struggling to fight their independence. They're being framed, and sadly we play as a villain called Zero, and his goal is to eliminate all sorts of rebellion. That's right, we are killing off strong independent soldiers because we can. We don't want independent robots. Like, we are playing as a sociopath here, people. There's no other way to describe it. In fact, this robot alone is responsible for the complete downfall of the world, essentially. So, yeah. Black Belt Matt, there is a Mega Man X collection, actually. So, you may want to look into that. It's on the PlayStation 2. And QTT finishing up the mini boss, no problems. The tank you just saw QTT and EaBTasRaiul pick up is called the X tank. It is a completely useless tank that has no purpose in a speedrun. It is solely there for completionist's sake. What it does, and a lot of people wondered about this, including myself, it gives you 2 extra lives if you game over and have to restart. That's all it does. It doesn't even give you the 2 lives right here, it gives them after a game over screen. Excuse me. Why, thank you. I like hearing that. I have that sexy Dutch weed smoking accent that all in the world love so much. I'm not even joking, I sound like a stoner. Very well aware of that. That said, the final boss for QTT and Raiul, Frost Walrus. There really isn't much to say about this guy. He is weak to the fire strike, and hitting him with fire will knock him back. And above half health, he will just slide across the room. If he's below health, he'll do his special attack, but the charge up takes so long, you can kill him off before he even gets it off. And with that, Zero's girlfriend has a brother called the Colonel. The Colonel wants to have a polite, decent talk with Zero about his antics as a Reploid hunter, as a Maverick hunter. He just wants to talk, nothing more, but this vicious bastard, sociopathic murderer Zero wants none of that, and he goes after him head and foot. He chases after him with the sole intent to kill him. That's our hero, ladies and gentlemen. And let's see if QTT goes for the triple jump strat here. Normally Zero only has a double jump, but QTT manages to do it. If you get hit after your second jump, you will be able to jump again, hence the triple jump. It has no further purpose in the game. It's probably a coding oversight, but for that specific room it saves off a few seconds.
I'll show you no mercy. Now get ready.
And now we see the Colonel just defending himself as Zero delivers that first cruel strike. I mean, come on, the guy just wants his independence and Zero is having it. How dare he? Boom, that's it. And now Zero, not wanting the family bloodline to be, you know, destroyed even further, decides to go after his girlfriend. And now we see Zero's way of breaking up, which is not really the way you normally do it. Interesting thing about the Colonel is that he has a very strange hitbox on his head. It allows you to hit him 3 times with a weapon that he is weak against. Perfectly, you can hit him 3 times. Usually you'll hit him twice. But that is why he takes so much damage. And of course, Iris, she senses Zero's bloodlust and she goes into self-defense. And Zero, being the bastard that he is, just kills this innocent girl. Again, this is our hero. This is the guy we're rooting for. Zero, never showing any mercy. And now for those wondering, you will not get the meme. No. Regarding Mega Man and Zero and Wily, we know that Wily made the Zero virus, he made Zero. We do not know what happened to Mega Man. All we do know is that Dr. Light made Mega Man X, made him with a completely new AI, but for safety reasons he decided to lock away X, and he would not be released until the diagnostics checks were all ran, and it was confirmed that he would not be a danger to the universe. However, Dr. Kane discovered his spot and released Mega Man X, and based all other robot designs off of Mega Man. All Reploids that you ever see in this game are based on Mega Man X's design, except for Zero. Zero is unique in that way, in that he is not a Reploid, nor is he the same as Mega Man X. QTT being trolled away, right away, by the General. Being trolled heavily by the General. This is a reset for a speedrunner. And if Raul gets the quick kill on this, he will save up a lot of time. And that's General. Dr. Light was the one who made Mega Man X, and it was Dr. Light and Dr. Wily who made Mega Man, Proto Man, and Roll. If Raul gets the immediate fist throw here, he will make up a lot of time. Come on, General, throw that punch. He is throwing the punch. If Raul gets the quick kill, he will make up at least 30 seconds. Push on through, get it, get it, get it, and he gets it! Frico, Axel is a Reploid. He's a new generation type of Reploid, but a Reploid nonetheless. Bass was made by Dr. Wily. QTT entering the refights. There's not going to be much happening here. The refights they will have some RNG to them, but it should not be a massive issue for either player. Well, Nimian, you have to be honest here. QTT is the second best player in the world in this game. The fact that he is only half a minute behind on QTT, or the fact that Raul is only half a minute behind QTT, still speaks a lot for his quality as a speedrunner. We have to be honest. Let's see if QTT gets the quick kill on Spider here. No, I don't think he'll get it. Nope! Barely misses it because of that web hit. QTT finishing Spider at 31 seconds. Oh yeah, the Spider quick kill will shave off 30 seconds. At least. Raul is not being very lucky with Web Spider here. Getting very few hits in. Nope. And yeah, Raul at this point is probably over a minute behind. I stand corrected, I thought it was less than that. Cyber Peacock not giving any sort of issues. Honestly, the only two bosses that will give some sort of semblance of RNG will be Slash Beast, and even that's minuscule, and Jet Stingray. Honestly, it is QTT's race to lose at this point, and it will be decided by Sigma 3. For those of you interested, feel free to give our Discord a visit. We are always looking for new commentators for this race. Maybe you can talk some strategies with other people, maybe join up for future races. Last year we had a Mega Man X4 100% race, I believe. I will post the command for you. Currently we have 4, and I use that number widely, 4 commentators. It's Chi, myself, Shadow Zero, and Goofy, who is commentating on Speed Gaming 1, I believe. But we can definitely use 1 or 2 more commentators. Even if you've never commentated, the only thing we ask of you is that you know a bit about the game, you speak English, obviously, and you just have a passion for the X series in general. Nimian, in all fairness, Mega Man X4 it's a challenging game for your first playthrough, but it's also very fun to speedrun. QTT not showing mercy to the refights, just letting that zero bloodlust shine through. What's the schedule? Schedule? What schedule? This match was supposed to begin 30 minutes before it actually began. Yeah. Also, I need to give a shout out to the excellent voice casting in this game. It is beautiful voice casting, especially X4, the best voiceover ever. I mean, who doesn't like a game where your protagonist is like a very emo, angsty? Frico, how dare you pick winning? Winning is for scrubs. Now would be a good time for donations. I know I've overused. God, there's so little to talk about with the refights. I mentioned that the last boss, Sigma Tree, will have a decisive factor. I might as well talk a bit about that. The final Sigma boss, and yes, spoiler, Sigma is the main villain. What a shocker. Sigma has 3 stages. His first, not stage, a phase, not a stage. Good God, man, you know your English. His first phase is basically his Reaper. There isn't much time to either gain or lose there. He appears above you and you hit him with your Rising Ground Strike. That's his weakness. You can take him down easily. Second phase, also not much in terms of RNG. He will jump up first, throw his sight around the screen, and then he will jump up again, throw his sight directly at you. If you want to position your character near a wall, so the sight gets stuck in the wall. If you position yourself incorrectly and he hits the floor instead, you will not get a good suitable pattern. If you hit the wall, he will jump to a corner and use his laser eye, which is the SDC mark where you just quick kill. So again, the first 2 phases have very little RNG to them. The third stage, however, will have all the RNG to them. You will have a Sigma on the bottom. Yes, you'll have a Sigma on the bottom right and a Sigma on the top, the bottom left and top right. Both of those Sigma stances have different attack patterns. They have a attack where it's difficult to hit them, and they will have an attack where you can basically one-cycle them. If QTT gets trolled heavily, and it is possible, and Raul does not, it will still be closer than one might expect. I think QTT has won so far, but he can be trolled. So we'll see what we get here.
Prepare to become space dust.
Ha ha ha. Alright, what do we get? If this Sigma decides to blow you away with the wind, nope. He decides to suck him in, which is the excellent pattern that you get. And he gets the one cycle on that. And that is the bad pattern, so he will still lose some time on. And another bad pattern, but he gets it with the teleportation swing. That is GG for Qttsix. He'll probably finish at 41, 48-ish. No, wait, 41, 35-ish probably. I stand corrected again. 41, 31 for Qttsix. GG to him, as Raul is also finishing up his boss. And Ryu also not being given the for Sigma. Yeah, you do. Officially, your game time ends when you enter through the doorway and you talk to the general. Oh wow, and Ryu being trolled on needing one more for that Sigma. Oh, poor guy. There we go. And that is GG for EaBTasRaiul too. He'll probably end up with a low 40. (42, 38). GG for EaBTasRaiul. And with this, Qttsix advances to the next round, round 2, where he will be facing. Let me quickly cheat sheet here. He will be facing Tarak HL in the next round. Currently, we have another match still happening on Speed Gaming 1. Let me quickly cheat or visit there to see what's happening over there. It seems that is also finished with Jean Baldo winning against Madhu. So with that, the next rounds have been decided. Round 2 will have Ariel RX versus Chalkman. We'll have what was that? We'll have Jean Baldo versus HKS Napa. We'll have Tarak HL versus Qttsix, and we'll have on Sprawl 5 versus Kianord. Those matches have not yet been decided, obviously. Like, they have not been scheduled in yet. They will most likely be next week. Let's see, is there anything else that we can talk about? No, not yet. I have to give GG to both runners. They did an excellent job. And I actually missed out on it just now. That was my bad. My apologies. With that said, QTT and EaBTasRaiul, let's see if either of them wants to join in on this. Ah yes, our stream is so lewd. Very lewd. Also, with that cold-hearted Killer Zero finishing up this entire fight for, Repload independence, gonna get an F for respects here. Get an F for the meme, or an F for Iris, or... Now, you know what? Get an F for respect for that bowling ball tournament that was won by Frico. He deserves that F. And QTT coming in with an interview. Let's see when he'll be dropping in. I see Tarek HL is in chat right now. Tarek, your match will be against Qttsix. Best prepare yourself, son. And we are taking a moment here to wait for QTT to open. And possibly EaBTasRaiul as well. Okay, EaBTasRaiul is sadly passing chance because he's not confident in his English. That is something I noticed in this tournament. We have a lot of different nationalities, going from Japanese to Korean players and Chilean players and Lord knows what else. A very diverse tournament. And there we have Qttsix. Congrats on your victory, my man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
How are you feeling?
It feels pretty great and not quite like very many mistakes for you to expect very bad general RNG.
Yeah, the general was not very nice to you. I think he floated around 3 times before he gave the fisting.
Yeah, that wasted like over than 15 seconds, I guess.
Well, your RNG was still not as bad as EaBTasRaiul. The first boss, the dragon boss, actually fell off screen for him. The first thing that he did. So yeah, but you won by a minute margin. I was very excited to see you go for the quick kill on Web Spider, but you barely missed it.
Yeah, in memory stage, last Spider quick just a bit very close to get quick kill, but I just choose the wrong way and missed some hits. Yeah, it was like 3 hits away, I think. It's pretty close.
Yeah, I think you were 1 hit off him. Like he had like 1 or 2 hits of health left when he came down.
Yeah.
That's a shame though. So your next match will be in round 2 will be versus Tarek HL. What do you think about that match?
Just try to do my best. Yeah, that's all.
What are your predictions for this tournament?
Prediction?
Your prediction, who do you think will win the tournament?
Who will win the tournament? Seems like this game has very big RNG effect in very top tier races. So it's kind of hard to say though. I can only tell about like who's going to be semifinals. Yeah, you know, it's just way too RNG this game.
Alright, well, I still have you picked for the winner, so my money's on you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope it just keep like doing sub 42 every single match. It's pretty good.
Yeah, if I oh, sorry, please go on.
Oh, no. I just over it.
If I remember correctly, you held the world record for this category for...
What? Sorry.
You held the world record for this game for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, it's like have been pretty long, like 2 or 3 years before Ariel beat me.
Before he snatched it.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, thank you for your race. It was very good to watch. As you said, you didn't really make a lot of flaws. It was pretty solid overall. This was just very RNG reliant. You had a very good Sigma fight, getting the first cycle. That was very nice to hear. Just a shame about just a shame about the destroy all move.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could have had a 1 cycle. That would have been pretty amazing to watch.
Yeah, that could be like a pretty low 41, I believe. If I got a spider quick kill.
Oh yeah, I'm still hoping to see more spider quick kills. I think only Ariel quick kill in this entire tournament. That was pretty hyped to see. So I'm definitely hoping to see you do one as well in the next race.
Yeah, I hope RNG just give me a chance to do that. And I didn't mess it up.
You heard it here first, folks. Pray to RNGesus. We'll be needing him. Alright, with that said, I will be concluding this interview. Thank you for dropping by. I know you mentioned that English isn't your first language, but hey, it's not mine either, and you're perfectly understandable. So again, thank you for dropping by.
Yeah, thanks for comment, man. Thanks for tournament.
It was my pleasure, it really was. With that said, people, take a look to the schedule for Speed Gaming right now. We have some matches upcoming very shortly. We will be having, let me quickly look at this. This is for Saturday now. Right now, both Mega Man X games have been completed. So we'll be having Ori and the Blind Forest on Speed Gaming 2. We will be having the Super Mario Odyssey Finals on Speed Gaming 1. We'll be having Shantae on Speed Gaming 3. And after Ori on Speed Gaming 1, we'll be having the Final Fantasy 1 matchups for the PSP. So feel free to give any of those channels a visit. We are having a lot of tournaments. Feel free to give them all a follow if you can. Feel free to subscribe or throw bits at Fiesel. He needs them to feed his poor family. He needs his tacos. And with that said, I have to conclude my own commentary. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for visiting and participating in chat. And I hope to see you all next time for round 2 of the Mega Man X4 100% Zero tournament. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy your Sunday. Goodbye.